Our next candidate this evening, which I am very excited to announce, United States Senate candidate, Everett Wess. Everett Wess grew up on the Alabama Gulf Coast. His father was a veteran, shipyard worker, and a committed Union man. His grandparents and great-grandparents were sharecroppers in an area of central Mississippi racked by racial turmoil and violence. Everett is a lifelong Alabamian whose education, professional career, legal service, and community leadership have all been firmly rooted in this state. During a 25-year legal career defined by public service, fairness, he has served as a prosecutor, a municipal court judge, public defender, and a private practice attorney. Before practicing law, Everett worked for more than a decade in technology, engineering, and education. He supported NASA mission operations, military and national security systems, telecommunications infrastructure, and large-scale financial processing platforms. He also served as an adjunct instructor for Faulkner University in Huntsville and Birmingham. Wess earned degrees from Selma University, Alabama A&M, and the Birmingham School of Law. He studied music education, computer science, and later earned an MBA and ultimately a Juris Doctor. He currently serves as state president of Alabama New South Coalition Incorporated, working to advance civic engagement, equity, and progress. Let's all please welcome Everett Wess.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody stand up. You've been sitting for a while. Stand up and stretch. And while you are standing, let's see if we can fill up these first 3 rows, because I want to be able to talk to you and have a conversation with you. Come on, nobody sit. Come on up, everybody. Don't we love each other? Oh, man. That looks so much better. Doesn't that look better? Yes. Wow. And that's, my name is Everett Wess again, and I am your candidate for the United States Senate. During this campaign, she mentioned earlier that I was the president of Alabama New South, and I received the endorsement of the Alabama Democratic Conference. For you who do not know, Alabama New South was created after there was a conflict in about 1985 as to who the presidential nominee should be. And those organizations split, and then we created New South, and it is very difficult for a New South member to get endorsed by the ADC. And I've done that throughout this campaign. And that's the kind of senator I want to be, is a senator who can bring organizations together, a senator who can bring people together. I asked you to come up front. Most of you did that. I still got a little work to do on some others. But I want to bring people together. And that's why I got into this race, because as I sat back and I looked at what was going on in Washington, I didn't like what I was seeing. Civility is lost. People aren't communicating with each other. They're not respecting each other. And I want to bring that ideal back to Washington, D.C. for the people of Alabama. So, we have Republicans and Democrats and people have gone throughout this state, and a number of individuals say, well, this is a red state. But I've been very encouraged because I've come to places like St. Clair County and Baldwin County and Coleman County, and there are a number of upstart Democratic organizations such as this that have only been in existence from summer to fall of 2025. And that's encouraging to me. And I think we're gonna surprise a number of folks in November during this election. Another thing that's going on that I have noticed throughout the state of Alabama is that I visit a lot of churches, and a lot of these churches have voter registration programs going on and voter reactivation programs going on. The sororities, the fraternities, the Masons, the Eastern Stars. I went to a function Monday night at the Sheraton. There were about 600 Masons and Eastern Stars in there. And they had voter applications and registrations and where you can check and see if you're still on the voting rolls in Alabama. So these are things that I'm seeing that's going on in Alabama, and I'm very encouraged. And I believe that I will be your next United States Senator after November 3rd, 2026. So, I was listening to your introduction, and I could not have put that together any better than you did, but I was sitting there listening at the same time, and I asked myself, wow, did I do that? Did I do all of that? So I've been busy throughout life. I love education, I love learning, I love being able to do a variety of things. So I went from music education for a while, played in the band up until my second year of college, and then I thought I wanted to stay, so I got into the software engineering business for a little while, and I love kids, but I did do some student teaching as a band director, and I didn't think that was for me, but if you're a teacher, I respect you immensely. So I did finish up an MBA later on. And after 17 years of working in the software engineering business, primarily in Huntsville, Alabama, I went back to law school, received a Juris Doctorate. So I've been working in the field of law for 26 years now. And I've represented all kinds of people on a number of different cases. I've gone to the federal appellate court on constitutional issues, the state and federal courts on constitutional issues. I've represented people throughout the state of Alabama while practicing law, and now I want to represent all of Alabama as your next United States Senator. I want to represent you whether you're poor, rich, black, white, Republican, Democrat, independent. I understand that when elected as your next U.S. Senator, I have to represent everybody. And I promise to do that as your next United States Senator. It's been refreshing to sit here and listen to the state candidates. Let's give them a round of applause again. Because I'm sitting here in this room and I'm agreeing, with everything, that they talked about. And that is refreshing. It's great when people and candidates to come together who are of like mind and we're all on the same page. So I think Alabama's future is bright for that reason. So my platform has to do with the affordability issue primarily. Right now, first of all, let me say I think we are in a unauthorized war as pursuant to the Constitution of the United States. I think Congress has the power to declare whether or not this country is in war or not. But then as a result of this war, we have all kinds of affordability issues in this country. Now we're asking for over $1 billion to continue to support the war. And as Alan talked about a little bit earlier, 82,000 people or so are taken off of the SNAP program, Supplemental Nutrition Program for children, for poor people, for people who are not like a lot of us. And out of that number, I think about 23,000 children children.
23 to 28,000.
23 to 28,000 children are no longer eligible to receive SNAP. And just think about that. You know, we want children to be, one party wants children to be born into this country, but when they're here, we don't want to feed them. We want to starve them to death, I guess. So there's some inconsistency there. So we have issues where gas prices are high. When families have to decide whether or not we're going to pay for medicine, are we going to pay for medicine, or are we going to buy food to feed the family? We have affordability issues. When I came through college, in the beginning, I received what we call a Basic Educational Opportunity Grant, BEOG grant, back in the day. And now the Department of Education has been dismantled. And as your next U.S. Senator, the Senate, the House, Congress created the Department of Education, and pursuant to the Constitution, they have the authority to fund and oversee the Department of Education. And I want to make sure that the Department of Education is there and properly funded, and that young people who are coming up have the same opportunity that I have to be successful in life. I want to make sure that they can provide government assistance through Pell grants, BEOG grants, and through student loans. That's one thing I want to do as your United States Senator, is make sure that individuals have an opportunity to get an education, whether it's at a college or trades. And that's important, because I'm currently on the board for an organization called Legacy Works, which is an organization that provides mentorship to young African-American teenage boys who are in school. All of these kids are not gonna go to college, but they're learning trades such as carpentry, brick mason, HVAC repair, things like that. And you can earn a good living in some of these fields. And that's why I'm proud to be on that board for Legacy Works. Y'all can look that up on the internet, and I think they have a fundraiser coming up. So I would encourage you to help them to raise funds to keep that organization going. And that makes us have a safer community, a safer Alabama, a safer country, because these young people will be able to be productive in life, whether they go to trade school or receive an education from a higher education institution. And that's what we want, a safer country. You know, we got all kinds of money to build prisons, but, and we can find money to build prisons, we can find money to go to war, but we can't find money to help these young folks receive trades and continue in their education, so that they won't get in trouble, so that they won't have to get involved in some of these vices that we see in life. And then healthcare is another issue that I'm very excited about working with. My father was a veteran. He, at the end of his life, he stayed in a veterans hospital for an extended period of time. And today he is, and I saw how that system worked, and I walked in the VA, I walked in a hospital. And even before now, I would walk in and there might not be enough social workers. There might not be enough nurses. There weren't enough doctors in some instances. There weren't, I mean, it was like a ghost town inside of a VA hospital. It'd take you a little while to find a receptionist. But our veterans took care of us. And as your next United States Senator, I want to make sure that we take care of our veterans and properly fund areas so that we can have veteran hospitals and so that we can have the staff to take care of the needs of our veterans. And Tony talked about how you might be an hour away from a hospital or from a doctor's office. I want to make sure that we, as a federal government, can give incentives to doctors in rural areas so that they can have adequate health care, have the same type of health care that I can receive in Birmingham, Alabama. We want to make sure that all Alabamians are taken care of in the health care industry. And we just want a government that's a common sense government. And I look today and sometimes, I just scratch my head. My opponent, Barry Moore, sponsored a bill to make the AR-15 the national rifle of the United States. I mean, that's what, and we have people who are hungry, people who need medical care, and they're focusing on things like that. Changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And then just recently, Barry Moore, I looked it up, voted against an infrastructure bill that included the bridge to be built in Mobile, Alabama. But it passed without his vote, and he was one of the first congressmen in front of the camera saying, look at what we've done. I mean, I just scratch my head sometimes. But I want to bring common sense back to Congress as your next U.S. Senator. Another big problem, we got a lot of problems, but another thing that's going on right now that's fueling the voter registration, voter reactivation issue is redrawing these lines. And a lot of individuals, and I do too, feel like we are not giving the voices and the votes the opportunity to be heard throughout the state of Alabama. I want to go back to Congress and work on some bills and work on some law that says that if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it swims, right, it's a duck. If it disenfranchises the voters, we want to make sure that we're not doing that in this country. One of the things I want to look at is maybe trying to get an independent panel to look at redrawing lines and redistricting and allow them to draw these lines where Republicans or one party is not trying to disenfranchise our voters. I think all of us should have the opportunity to vote, and every American should be proud to vote and to have the opportunity to vote. And that's the kind of senator that I want to be. I want to stand up and support our current U.S. Congress persons such as Terry Sewell and Shamari Figures, and hopefully we can get enough votes out in November and they will win their district along with some of these other great Congress people who are running throughout the state. Mr. McGinnis, is he in this district here? So we have McGinnis, we have Clyde Jones down in District 1, Mobile. So we have a chance to win a number of congressional district seats, and we can change the face of this country, we can change the face of Alabama.